Greetings, welcome back to CS275 Database Development. We're now going to go over simple and complex filters. And what does that mean? Well, this is basically a little bit more on last lesson. Essentially, we did do a simple filter. We're going to add to that. So you'll be able to just do more specific searching and filtering as you're going through this. As you go through this, you're going to be able to go ahead and demonstrate filtering for specific data. So, a couple things. Again, advanced where clause. What we did so far was where name equals name. Boom. Where ID equals this. So we've done the equal already, right? Now, if you're using numbers, you could also do less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than equal to, or not equal to. It should be noted sometimes the exclamation point equal sign is not equal. It just depends on what you're using. But a very common one is the less than or greater than sign being equal to not equal. You also notice as we go further, there's other keywords that allow you to do this, like the not. But let's look through this in totality, where we're going to see in this case, again, if you remember from our select lesson, we're picking two columns from a table where, all right, so this is where the row is, right? These are the columns, the where does the rows, condition and condition. So maybe first name equals John, and last name equals Doe. And you can just keep on going through adding more and more conditions. Again, we'll have examples shortly. And the next one will be an or. Again, same concept. First name's John or the last name's Doe. And finally, this allows you to say, hey, I want all of the conditions that are not something, right? So not first name equals Doe as an example. Right. So, and if you've done any coding before, you're used to the and or not operators. Just again, giving you that ability to focus in a little bit more complexity when you're trying to do that filter. The other one that's common is between. So again, this is more of a number one. So if it's between 50 and 70. But again, as you write this, you need to understand what exactly you're trying to do, right? So you gotta make sure you have it set up what the column, so age, and then the age is between 50 and 70, as an example. More things to get more specific to strings. Now, you saw that MySQL allows you to do equal, but more commonly the term like is used, and specifically as we look at this, where first name like, and then maybe people have nicknames or something as they're going through this. So got a good example for you on this, but this actually shows you a few things you can do. The percent sign means, hey, anything before that, and if you have percent sign on this sign, it's a wild card. Anything, I think, again, different SQLs programs have different ways to do this. But again, with an example, this will make a lot more sense as we go through this. But column N, like, and again, essentially this is saying this code specifically is saying it contains an A. Anything in column N that contains an A, it's going to return those rows. So again, let's go back to that demo time for a lot of these. As a reminder, we have our user table, we have our Doge table, and let's kind of look at some of these different examples as we go through. So I'm going to do the AND statement first. Make sure I grab the right thing. So in this case, select all. Most of these are just going to do all. Because I just want to show you the point of the filtering is to get the rows, right? We want to get the correct rows. So where first name equals John and last name equals Doe, right? So where John and Doe. Not or, right? And it needs both of these to be true. So these are all Johns, however, their last name is not Doe. So as predicted, only John Doe returns. Now, let's try that with or. Now, in this case, I'm going to say, hey, if their first name is Jane or their last name is Doe. So if you look at this, again, it just needs one of those to be true, right? The or is one of those needs to be true. So John is not part of our thing anymore. So I have Jane and Doe, right? So Doe, the both meet the thing for Doe. Jane also has Jane. Now, if this person's name was Jane and there was no Doe, it would also show up as well. But right now, the only ones that meet this, and it is important to point out, both of these meet those requirements, right? Or means only one of them needs to be true. In this case, both of them are true, which means one of them is true. So when I run this command, you'll see John doesn't meet Jane, however, it meets Doe, so he's in there. And Jane meets both of those, so she's in there. All right, now let's do not when we're looking at that. So in this case, where it's not Doe. So in theory, this should return everything but those first two. These two right here. And there we go. So again, last name not Doe, where not equals Doe. And as I mentioned before, this could also be the word like, which we'll see in a second. But first thing, we're going to do an example of numbers, something you do with numbers. And this will actually use the Doge. This will use the person one. Select star from users where age is greater than 50, right? So you're looking at the ages. This is all of them. So everyone who has more than 50 on their age. And there you go. All of those ages are clearly over 50. And you can do less than, all those different things, right? We're not going to go over every single possible combination, as long as you understand what's going on. And finally, we will use the Doge one. In this case, we're looking for select name from Doge where name like, and basically it's saying, hey, anything before no or anything after no. Now you could not have this first percent sign and then just be anything with no blah, 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 blah. So if anything came before no, it wouldn't work. So let's look at these names real quick. No, Bad Dog, No, Junior, and Daisy, right? So two of these contain the word no, and those are the two that show up. Now I did actually select name, just name on this one. Again, as an example, whatever you need to get to work, you write the code to get what you need out of it. And that's all I have for you today. We'll see you next lesson.